So, good afternoon, everyone. It's Tuesday, March 24th, 2020. And I thought I'd do a seated practice, seated hands and knees practice with you this afternoon. So, go ahead and come to a cross-legged, this is called Sukhasana or easy pose in yoga. So just your legs crossed. If when you sit like this, your knees are way up like this, and your back curves, just get up on either like a bolster, some folded blankets, a sofa cushion, or something where you're sitting up high enough so the knees can relax down and the low back is long, and you're creating space from the pubic bone to the top of the collarbone. You're creating this space for the breath. And then just bring your hands down to your knees and turn the palms up towards the ceiling. So the idea is when you turn your palms up, you're connecting to the energy here. And when the palms are down, you're connecting more to earth energy. And I just want to have the palms turned up today because we are socially isolating. If you turn your palms up, you can imagine your connection with other human beings, with other yoga students, and then just drop into your breath, letting the breath be whatever it needs to be. Allow the mind to focus on the breath. I breathe in, I breathe out. And then just see if you can make your breath slow and smooth, taking all the time you need. And then bring your hands to Anjali Mudra at the heart center. And as you inhale, sweep the arms down and up. And exhale back to the heart. 2 more times. Inhale up. And exhale down. And 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Now, bring your hands to the belly length, and we're just going to do this twisting flow from side to side. And so just follow the video as if you're looking in a mirror, moving from side to side. And we're really looking from the twist from the navel to the top of the collarbone here. So it's really just the lumbar and thoracic spine. Make sure you keep your spine long. And notice how the hips kind of play into this a little bit. And then come back to the center. And bring your left hand to the inside of your left knee, your right hand by your right hip. Lengthen here. We're going to take a slow, deep twist to the right. So navel, ribs, chest, shoulder, turning the head to look towards the right. And breathing here. Slow, deep breath. And then coming back to the front, head, shoulders, chest, and belly. We're going to do that again, taking that slow, deep twist to the right. Navel, ribs, chest, shoulder, turning the head, breathing here. And back to the front, head, shoulders, chest, and belly. And 1 more time, that slow, deep twist. To the right, and 1 more time, back to center. Now, bring your arms down, lengthen the spine, and as you inhale, lift your arms up and lift your face up towards the ceiling, lengthening the front and the back of the neck. And then exhale, the arms come down, the head comes to neutral. 2 more times like that. Inhale, lift up, look up. This really expansive, open posture. And exhale back. And 1 more time, inhale, lift up, look up. And exhale, back to center. And then take your right hand to the inside of your right knee, your left hand by your left hip here, lengthen, and take that slow, deep twist to the left. Navel, ribs, chest, shoulder, head. Breathe here. And then coming back to the front, head, shoulders, chest, and belly. And again, twisting slowly, deeply to the left. Navel, ribs, chest, shoulder, head. Breathing here. And back to the front, head, shoulder, chest, and belly. And last time, that slow, deep twist to the left. Stay here for a breath or 2. Make your way back to the front, head, shoulders, chest, and belly. And then bring your arms down to the side and lengthen. And as you inhale, lift both arms up and look up, lengthening the front and the back of the neck. And exhale. Arms down, head to neutral. 2 more times, inhale, lift up, look up. Exhaling back down. And last time, inhale. And exhale. And then bring your hands to your legs and lengthen. We're gonna do a little seated cat-cow. So as you inhale, lift up on the root lock, draw the navel in, rounding forward, and as you exhale, press the sits bones, lengthen the spine, open the heart center, and let the head follow the curve of the upper back. Inhale, engaging the root lock, drawing the navel towards the spine, rounding forward, and as you exhale, press the sits bones, lengthen the spine, and open the heart center. Keep going like this. Inhaling cat. Exhaling cow. So you'll notice you're creating this wrap and pack tension as you come into the cat on the inhale. And as you exhale and come into the cow, there's a whoosh of release. Inhale, lift up on the root lock, draw the navel towards the spine, round into your cat. You're cohesing that energy, and then exhale as you arch into the cow. Go 1 more time, cat. And then come to a neutral spine. So you're sitting up tall, your ears are over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and the spine is long. And we're going to do some holographic waves. So this 3-dimensional asymmetric fluid movement. So I have kind of a baggy shirt on today. You probably cannot see real well. But you're moving the little tiny bundles of muscle fibers. And so the mind loves symmetry, and this is asymmetric, so you may feel some resistance to this. But the body loves this because you get into the fascia, into the connective tissue in this really fluid yet gentle way. And then bring that to a close and just sit up nice and tall. So holographic wave. If you have stiffness in your body, if you've overbuilt muscle and the connective tissue has tightened around that overbuilt muscle, which we see a lot in people who are very athletic, then the holographic wave is a way to sort of open that up so that you can reorganize the body in better alignment. And it's, of course, with repeated effort over time. These practices you have to practice, if not every day, a couple of 3-4 times a week. Not necessarily for an hour or even 20 minutes, but if you get on your mat every day for a little bit of time, it can help. Now we're gonna bring the soles of our feet together, and we're still sitting way up on those sits bones, and the knees are falling out. This is called Baddha Konasana, which means angle pose. And you're sitting up nice and tall here, and we're going to do that holographic wave again here. So engage the root lock, which are the muscles of the pelvic floor. Draw the navel in. You come to a little cat tilt, and then you just start exploring where can I get little tiny bundles of muscle fiber to move independently of one another, so that I get into the netting of connective tissue, and that connective tissue covers the muscles, it covers bundles of muscle fibers, it covers all the major organs, and so they used to think it was just structural, but now they've discovered that it also plays a communicative role within the body's biology. So go ahead and sit up tall here. Now, keeping a flat back, ears over shoulders, just hinge forward and lift back up. So you just want to play to your edge, meaning you want to come to the place where you first feel resistance and then lift right back up out of it in this pose, counter pose. And rather than focusing on how the pose looks, focus on how it feels to you to be in your body in this way. But we want to keep the ears over the shoulders all the way down and all the way back up. Heart center open, all the way down and all the way back up. One more time, forward and up. And then go ahead and come back up to sitting. And then bring your right foot out to the side and flex the foot, reach through the heel, and your left heel is in line with the midline. Sit up nice and straight and keep this right foot flexed. Bring your left arm out to the side, lengthen the spine, and as you inhale, this arm comes up and over, and you're hinging and stacking shoulder on top of shoulder, and keep the ears in line with the shoulders. So try not to let the head fall forward or down like this or lift it up like this. You want the head and neck in alignment, and then come back. So we're gonna just come in and out of this. This is inhale up and over, and exhale back. Inhaling up and over, and exhale back. A few more times this pose, counter pose. And then the next time this left arm comes up and over, we'll stay here and breathe. So inhaling and exhaling into the belly. Draw the navel towards the spine. Inhale as you lift up and bring this arm down. And we'll switch to the other side. So always take your time as you're transitioning out of a pose and support the legs. because the body's working here, and you don't want to take a fatigued muscle and then and then be unmindful in how you use that muscle right after you've fatigued it. So flexing, let me see if you can see the foot. So flexing the left foot, sitting up nice and tall here, bringing your right arm out to the side as you inhale, coming up and over, and exhaling back. So this side may feel really different. It may feel different because you haven't really warmed it up yet. It may feel different because we have a dominant side as human beings. We're either left or right-handed. But none of that really matters. What matters is that you just want to notice. Notice how it feels to be in your body, all sensation, without judgment, without expectation. And in this silence and this listening to the body, we connect. That's the yoga. That's the connection. The next time this right arm comes up and over, we're going to stay here and breathe. So here you have to be strong and pliable at the same time. So my bandhas are engaged, the root lock, pit of the belly are gently engaged. But I'm also breathing deeply and rhythmically into those bandhas. Inhale as you lift up. Exhale, bring that arm down. So that you learn to hold two opposing forces in the body at the same time, which is a really important lesson of the yoga practice that can be taken off the mat. So go ahead and let's come forward on our mats into tabletop. So coming onto your hands and knees. So if you're on a hard floor and the floor is hurting your knees, get a blanket or a beach towel is a good option if you're at home. And get that blanket and place it underneath your knees so that you have a little extra padding. And then to come into tabletop, you want your wrists right underneath your shoulders, your knees hip distance apart. And you want, as best you can, the back to be totally flat, just like a little table. So just stay here. Notice how that feels. So a lot of times people have a little round in their upper back like this. So to lengthen that out, just press into the first knuckle of the hands. Draw the wrist energetically towards your knees and lengthen here. Now from here we're going to do some cat-cow. So inhale, engage the root lock, the pit of the belly, round one vertebra at a time, chin to chest. There's your cat. Lift the tailbone, sink the belly towards the mat, open the heart center, look forward. There's your cow. Inhale, engage the root lock, the pit of the belly, rounding into the cat, and as you exhale, lift the tailbone, sink the belly, open the heart center. A few more times like this. In this cat-cow, I am more interested in students moving in a smooth, fluid way. We're trying to wire up the motor neurons and the muscles. So everybody plays nice together. Nobody's being lazy and no one's being overactive. Everybody's doing their role. And then the next time you come to the cat, stay here. And here we're going to move in holographic again. And here the holographic is a little more mobile. It's actually a little easier. I like to demonstrate it sitting up first so you can see, but then once you're on your hands and knees, you're just really moving into the tissue here. And then bring that to a close and walk your hands forward just a little bit. So I'm going to move back on my mat so I'm sure you all can see my upper body here. So bring your hands forward in front of your shoulders, maybe a few inches. And then rock forward, bringing the shoulders over the wrists, lengthen the spine here, and then bring the hips back over the knees, and then bend the elbows, tipping the pelvis towards the thighs. This is puppy pose. Now from here, round the lower back, and then sit back on your heels, bringing your head down to the mat in child's pose. Go ahead and hinge forward, straighten the elbows, hinge forward, shoulders over wrists, long flat back. And then bring your hips back over the knees, bend the elbows, the forearms come down onto the mat. Notice how the upper back stays flat and the sits bones lift towards the ceiling. And then a little tiny cat stretch as you sit back into child's. Inhale, come forward. This is a modified plank position. Exhale, hinging back to, and then bending the elbows to puppy pose. Inhale, take a little tiny cat stretch, and then exhale, child's pose. Go one more time. Inhaling into table. Modified plank. Exhale, puppy. Inhale, little cat. Exhale, child's pose, and just stay here. And from here, you can gently, you can bring your hands back a little bit and gently shift from shin to shin so you get just a little bit of lateral motion in the knees and hips. That helps with the joints, that helps the joints produce synovial fluid, which has a healing capacity in the joint space. And then bring that to a close and draw your hands under your shoulders and go ahead and slowly come up. So if you have yoga blocks, get 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can do this on the floor. And then go ahead and bring your right foot forward, your left foot back. And we're just going to hinge forward. Bring the knee right over the ankle, square the hips, and lengthen the spine, and then hinge back. Inhaling as you come forward. Exhale as you hinge back. So keep going like this, inhaling forward and exhaling back. So as you come forward, you're stretching into the front of the left hip flexor. And as you come back, you're stretching into the hamstrings on the right leg. And again, it doesn't matter really what the pose looks like as long as you're feeling that stretch and you're working with relaxed effort. One more time back. And the next time you come forward, stay here, look straight ahead. Now draw the navel towards the spine, press into that right foot, lift the arms up. And then bring the arms down, hinge back, bring your right leg back. And then bring your left leg forward. Here we go on this side, hinging forward and hinging back. Now, if when you do this, your left heel lifts or the left knee goes over the toes, what that means is that your foot is too close in and this is happening. So just walk that foot out a little bit further so that when you bend the knee, it comes right over the ankle in line with the second toe, hinging forward. This is inhale and exhale. So if you were doing this without blocks, it would just look something like this. And the reason I like to use the blocks is because the upper back tends to round when you're here. And we are always trying to counterpose that rounding up here in the back because once that gets into your body, it's actually called kyphosis. And it's really difficult. It creates a lot of problems as we age. So the next time you come forward, stay here, lengthen the spine, draw the navel in, find a focal point and lift. Bring the arms down, hinge back, bring that knee back. And then if you have blocks, just move those to the side. And I'm going to tuck my shirt in and we're going to do a downward facing dog. So again, come to tabletop and just walk your hands forward and tuck the toes under. Now, lift up and then hinge back. Bring the weight of the hips way back over the heels and lift your sits bones towards the ceiling. Press into the hands and breathe here. And then bend the knees, roll through the balls so the feet come to tabletop, flatten the feet, come to child's pose. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhaling to table. Tuck the toes under, lift up and hinge back. It doesn't matter if the heels are up off the floor. It's more important to get this downward, down dog tilt to the pelvis. So sometimes students will do this. They'll get their heels down and then this rounds, but this is really a better pose. And then roll through the balls of the feet. Come back to child's pose, and then 1 more time table. 1 more time downward dog. Breathe in here. And then bending the knees, coming back to tabletop. So that's it for the active practice. We're going to do a Shavasana, but if you want to follow this up with something, there's a 20-minute balance practice that's a standing practice that I suggest you follow this up with if you want a little bit more. But for now, if this is it for you, and this is plenty of yoga to practice in one day or at one time. It doesn't have to be an hour. Whatever you can, just getting on the mat. Get your mat out, get on the mat. That's the most important thing. And remember, yoga is really important to practice before you feel your anxiety rising. So early in the morning is the best time, especially if you're staying at home, before you get the radio on to hear the news, before you check Facebook, get on your mat and do a little practice. So go ahead and come down onto your back. If you have low back problems, I suggest you get your blanket or beach towel and fold it up. And you want to place this blanket underneath the thighs, not under the back, but underneath the thighs. That rocks your pelvis up a little bit and creates some length in the low back. So that's what works best for low back pain. And then let your feet be about shoulder distance apart, the toes flop out. Roll your palms up towards the ceiling. And if you have that hyperextension of the neck like this, lift your head up and tuck the chin and bring the occiput down to the mat. And if that starts to change, you may need a little something under your head. Go ahead and drop into your breath. I breathe in. I breathe out. Let the breath be whatever it needs to be at first. And then see if you can slow the breath down without struggling, making it slower, deeper, and smoother. And when it's time to come up, I'll ring the singing bowl 3 times. and I'll give you directions for sitting up, and then we will close the class. So wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bending your knees, bring your feet flat on the floor, and you can gently rock the knees from left to right, slowly, gently, just waking up. You're just reawakening the prana in your body. When you're ready, go ahead and roll over onto your right side. You can stay in the fetal position here. You can bring your right arm under your right ear if you like for a little pillow rest. Notice the support of the earth. And when you're ready, using your arms, press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands to Anjali Mudra at the heart center here and take a few breaths. Just notice how you feel. And take this off the mat and into your life. Namaste.